Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tommy Pie, welcome back to another video. Today I thought I'd do something on the Origins mod, since I've just recently discovered it and I'm really fascinated by it and I really like it. Please note, if you are new here, I usually do content on another mod, but I am thinking about starting to do some stuff on the Origins mod. So if that interests you, I would appreciate it if you subscribe, even if you hate me with an undying passion. But like, come on, we're almost at 1,000. Nah, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. It's not. But anyway, today we're going to be ranking the Origins from worst to best. Please note, I'm not currently using any add-ons, like the extra Origins mod or the Origins classes. But I mean, I could perhaps make another video on, you know, all the extra Origins and stuff like that. But anyway, you gotta remember this is my opinion, so please don't dislike just because you disagree. This list can always change, so please let me know where you think I went wrong and what your opinion is. But mainly, I'm gonna be focusing on their full potential that each Origin can reach. But you gotta remember that like fun and other factors will play a part to the list. So anyway, at the bottom of the list is the Feline Origin. So they never take full damage from when you fall. They are able to jump higher while they're sprinting. They have one less heart, and they also have weak arms, so you can't mine natural stone unless, well, you can just read that, alright? But what's great is that they can scare creepers away, and they can slightly see in the dark. So being able to scare creepers away is really good, but the weak arms, besides the fact that they can be countered, they are just really annoying. Like, look at this, I can't mine these stone because they're all attached together. But in the start of the game, this won't be too much of a big issue because you can usually find pieces of stone that you can mine, like that one there, but I mean all of these, they're not getting it, are they? But to mine normally, you require strength and then everything is normal. But then thinking about strip mining and all that, constantly having a strength potion on you, is not going to be ideal. I overall think this is a good weakness. The high leaping ability may help you get critical hits. Because you're in the air for longer, there's more chance that you'll be able to get a critical hit in, being quite effective in PvP. But you've also got to consider that this high leap also makes you higher than other players, making you more comboable. May have just made up a word, but there's more chance of your opponents comboing you because you're going, you know, you're jumping higher. But that's Felines. I am sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But next we have the Avians. Please note, I am going to try and go past the summary as quick as I can because that's not what this video is about. But you fall gently to the ground, as you can see. This is really fun actually. Avians also have speed, which is really handy, but they can't digest any meat. Now some may say Avian is the bottom, but the speed can really help with PvP. As you know, you're going fast, it's going to be harder for your opponent to hit you. The vegetarian trait is actually going to make it really hard at the start of the game to get food unless you're really lucky. Because at the start of the game, you just kill mobs, don't you? You just kill away. With these guys, you might need to do a farm, or if you spawn in the jungle, which fortunately I did, you get Merlin. But I'm personally a pretty big fan of the slow falling, like just cruising off a mountain like that is nice. It does slow you down when going up blocks slightly, but the extra speed kind of makes up for that. But next, you could probably tell from me being in lava, is the Blazeborn Origin. You're immune to all types of fire damage, as you can see. It'll actually spawn in the nether, which is cool. When a fire deal more damage, you're immune to poison and hunger status effects, and you receive damage while in water. Now when I was making this list, I was thinking, should I put Blazeborn above the next one? But you gotta think about it, when it's raining, life's gonna be pretty bad, isn't it? Like, look at this. I'm gonna miserably fail this, but here we go. Think about the speed that other players can throw snowballs at you. You've also got to consider I am playing in peaceful, so I regenerated that really fast. But I think that's quite a good feature, I'm not gonna lie. If you were a Blazeborn, I would always carry a lava bucket with you, because imagine doing this, you're instantly going to deal far more damage, because it's quite a lot. And also, starting in the nether does sound really interesting, and gives the Blazeborn a nice twist, and will explain why it has an impact of high. But there's the Blazeborn. Next we have the Merlin. And these guys are really specialised for the water. They swim way faster, they have great vision underwater, they have aqua affinity, can break blocks underwater the same speed as humans can break on land, unlimited oxygen, and they do not sink. Yeah, they really stand no disadvantages in the water. But their only disadvantages, they can't breathe on land. This is a terrible example for saying that because it's raining where you can breathe. But yeah, you're the kings of the ocean, alright? Not land. This is ranked fairly low, just simply because all the action is happening on the land. But I feel like if you're a good builder and love oceans, Merlin's the one for you, because you can build some beautiful underwater things, can you? So next on the list is the Arachnid. These guys can climb up walls, which is incredibly fun. That might benefit you quite a lot in the nether as well, and just escaping other people. Well, that's if you need to, because this webbing ability when hunting and killing other things is extremely good. Cobwebs are often used a lot in PvP anyway to get them stuck, and then you can hit them and do whatever the hell you need to do. But that means a skilled PvPer combined with this cobweb ability is going to deal some serious damage to their opponents. And of course the downsides are the 3 less hearts. This is a big fat downside. And also, because they're a carnivore and they can only eat meat, they won't be able to eat golden apples, which is used loads in PvP. But I just think the web and the climbing is so cool, so that's why it's here on the list. So next, we have the Elytrian. You probably know these guys actually start with Elytra wings, oh shoot. I must admit guys, that was staged for comedic purposes. But yes, as you can see, you start the game with an Elytra on your back. You have a G ability where you can actually fly up, meaning that you can use less firework rockets. And when flying in air, and you hit an entity, you actually deal more damage. You cannot wear any heavy armor, and being somewhere too low will make you weaker and slower. So the best armor you can wear is chainmail, and I feel like this is the equivalent to losing hearts, just like the spider. If anything, it's even worse. But these guys, they're extremely fun and convenient early on in the game. Being able to use an Elytra with a G ability is an extremely good advantage, but I'm afraid to say their full potential ain't great. Because imagine if like everyone else in your server got Elytras, you'd be pointless. I take it back, you're not pointless, you still do more damage when you're flying, and you know, etc. But I do confess, having weakness in a small space is an extreme bugger. I can't even hit this zombie, look, that's how bad it is. So mining in caves is going to be horrible, basically. You want to make sure you get a shield for that. Now, using the extra damage while flying, you could actually do this, look, like I'm flying right now, and I just hit the cow. That means I would have done more damage. But you gotta remember that doesn't always work. You need to be quite skilled to be effective at doing that in PvP. But a skilled Elytrian could really pack a punch. So next is the Shulk. So the Shulk has access to a 9-slot inventory that keeps items even when it dies. It's just kind of like a mixture of a shulker box and an ender chest. The skin provides them with more natural protection. As you can see, I've got 4 bars of armor without wearing anything. Shulk can actually mine stone without needing a pickaxe, which is really going to help early on in the game, but later on in game, not so much, because you'll have pickaxes by then, hopefully. But the thing about Shulks are, you can't wield a shield. Love how that rhymes, but yeah, that's an extremely big disadvantage. But Shulks exhaust more than others, so they need to eat more to make up for it. So, for the analysis thing, if you have food farms later on in game, the hunger won't really be a problem. This inventory is a huge advantage, and in my opinion is one of the best origin abilities. Its extra armor also contributes to maximizing its full potential, but not being able to hold a shield is definitely the biggest disadvantage because you need these for PvP. But then again, it does mean you can hold a totem in your second hand instead, which many people do anyway. If I wasn't a Shulk, what I'd usually do is I'd always hold a totem, but if I'm about to fight someone, I'd hold a shield, and then once I start to get really low, I'd switch over to a totem. It's quite obvious, but let's move on. So you probably know what's next on the list just by seeing this and how invisible I am right now. Yeah, it's the Phantom. You're probably all expecting this to be high up on the list, are you? I mean, now you know what number 1 is as well. They can't go in the daylight as they'll be set on fire, like that. Now that sounds trash, but when you press G and go into Phantom Thing Cool mode, you're immune to it. And with this Phantom Cool mode, you can phase through blocks. This is just always going to be handy. You can find caves deep down by pressing shift, like I just found a cave, look at that. So good. However, this does require more hunger to do. But I mean, you're invisible to players, oh shoot. And just like with Shulks, you can have food farms to counter the increased demand for food. You may be thinking, why isn't this number 1? Like, you're invisible, you can kill everyone and they won't even know it's you. But actually, later on in the game, you kind of want armor, don't you? And as you can see, armor shows. Then you may be thinking, I'll just take off my armor and I'm fighting. No. Later on in the game, when you've got netherite weapons, you could go down in one shot. Now, a way you can use the Phantom's abilities and still wear armor and get an advantage out of PvP is by doing this. So say if the cows are human and I want to kill them, I could go under... oh, what the hell? I could go underneath them in phasing mode, then every now and then just pop up and whack them like that. Now, because the Phantom doesn't have any armor reduction traits, you're still going to be able to wear your maxed out netherite armor. So while it might be a bit annoying to start out as this origin, and you know, you've lost 3 hearts, I think they're incredibly great, and it's a fine addition to the Origin Mods collection. But that leads us on to number 1, you all know what it is. See, look at that. But yeah, I decided to put the Endearing at number 1. So these guys could throw Ender Pearls with an extremely short cooldown, probably making them one of the most mobile origins in the mod, besides Elytrian. But then again, those 2 origins' mobility is quite different, and you know you can always get an Elytra as one of these guys, can't you? Like Enderman, these guys take damage in the water. And what's interesting is they can't actually see players when they're wearing a pumpkin head. But to finish up the summary, they actually have long arms, so you can hit from further away, and mine. This is crazy good. If it rains, you are screwed. You're just going to take damage out in the open world. Nobody wants that, you're just gonna have to stay under a tree or something. You also may be thinking, that's a huge disadvantage not being able to see people when they're wearing a pumpkin head. But actually, this works in your favour, funnily enough. Because if you turn on your hitboxes, you will still be able to see them. So if the person wearing that pumpkin head was like, haha, they can't see me, took all their armour off so it actually works, but you could actually see them, you could kill them in a couple of seconds, they would never see it coming. Moving on, hydrophobic isn't really an issue. I mean, if you're destroying someone in a battle, so they could just place a water bucket, but if you have a bow, then that's kind of counted, isn't it? What I like about the Enderian is that it has offensive capabilities and defensive. The long arms really work on the offense, as in PvP you'll be able to reach them and they can't reach you, and who doesn't want that? But the pearls, they actually play really defensively, because if someone's beating you in combat, you can just get out of here. It doesn't matter if you're in Elytra, you will never really be caught. And these two abilities just make it the strongest origin, in my opinion. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I missed things. Again, please leave your opinion in the comments below, and do consider subscribing, because this did take me a lot of effort to make, and I put a lot of thought into it. But I'm not giving up new TARDIS mod content, I'm just doing content on the Origins mod as well now. But have a nice day, everybody.